What's up, guys? Today is October 6, 2018, and this is another Happy Doc Daily. I wanted to start off this episode by giving a shout out to a review that was provided by one of our listeners. She said, "This is Dora Rodriguez, MD. She says, I enjoy listening to your podcast. Great work. I'm very interested in voice applications and looking more into this. Take care." Thank you so much, Dr. Dora, for leaving a review. Guys, this is one of the best ways to leave support for this podcast, and we appreciate Dr. Dora for leaving us a review. So speaking about voice, super pumped and excited. We're in the process of creating a voice application, specifically in Alexa, which we think is going to be very useful for the medical community. So please be on the lookout and please check in for that voice application. Obviously, we'll be providing a discount to anyone who's interested in it from our listeners. It's going to be free, but there's actually going to be a couple versions to it. If you want to utilize it more, there's going to be a cost associated, but everyone here is going to get a discount. So I can't talk about it too much. I want it to be very exciting when we do reveal it, and I think it's going to be a great application to get us really into the voice space. Speaking about voice, again, if you guys did not listen to our episode on Ben Smith, please listen. It is awesome, and you guys will learn more about how medicine and voice can be very applied, and I think it's now a great time to consider it. So with that being said, today I wanted to talk about defeat. I wanted to talk about ego. I wanted to talk about losing. And these are tough subjects, but it's a very human subject, and it's the thing that really lets us learn about ourselves and grow. You know, life with all successes, with everything going your way, number one, doesn't happen, but number two, doesn't teach you those really tough lessons. It's interesting now being in my second year of residency and seeing a lot of the mistakes that some of the interns and students might be making. And what I want, the medical community, especially those who are, a little bit before me in terms of the path, we're going to fail often. And in fact, I'm sure our attending physicians are always seeing us fail often, or making cognitive mistakes, or not knowing everything completely. And that's 100% okay. That's absolutely where we need to be. We need to make mistakes often. Not that we should try to make mistakes, but we are going to make mistakes, and that should be expected. It's part of the process. We are human. We are not machines, and we're going to be at fault. We're not going to be perfect. And it's just within that space of vulnerability that even if it's just internally, we admit inside of ourselves we're not egotistical. We can always stay humble and realize, crap, I made a mistake here, or I don't know what this is, and we look it up. That's the way we learn. That's the way we get better. And I think, for everyone listening, we need to figure out how to do this culturally, where it's okay to be vulnerable to our teams in a way that's not pointing fingers, in a way that's not putting blame on other people, but in a way that's educational. And the real way to set that up in a culture is actually for the leadership, aka the attendings, the supervising staff, making it all right and leading by example, the fact that it's okay to be vulnerable. It's okay to admit your mistakes. It's okay to say, guys, you know what? We could have handled this case differently. We could have handled this situation differently. The problem is there's also a tremendous amount of judgment, and obviously there's legal ramifications at some points. So I do understand that there are concerns about admitting fault, admitting mistakes, admitting the areas that we've done wrong. But those are the areas we learn. So even if it's in the confines of a conversation with your team, obviously if something was grossly negligible, that's very different. But we need to figure out how to talk about mistakes and and push our egos aside to be able to improve as a whole. And I think this is a conversation that could happen 100 times and it wouldn't be talked about enough. But I bring this up because, even in my personal, last week or so, I've noticed some things that I could definitely do better. I internalize it. I think about, ways I could improve. I don't make it personal. I don't think I'm a bad person. And I just say, this is something I can correct. This is something I can do better. And everyone has the opportunity to do so. And if you have the opportunity to take a step further, it's to share your vulnerability, share your times that you've made mistakes, saying, you know what, the only reason I know this piece of information or know something about this case, or I'm pointing this out to you right now, is because I made this mistake and I don't want you to repeat that. I made this medical error. I made this cognitive mistake that now I'm more cognizant of. And so I share that to you guys today. Be vulnerable, be open, push your ego sides, educate your teams. And if you're in a leadership position, please share those vulnerabilities. And we have a lot of guests on here. They share a lot of their strengths. They share a lot of the amazing things they do, but they also share a lot of the frustrations, the things that are hard. And medicine is definitely not an easy field by any means, and it'll constantly be challenging. But we need to open up about those challenges if we're ever going to improve, fix it, find solutions, and move forward. So I hope you guys have appreciated that episode for today. Please check us out. Keep following along with the episodes. We have a Facebook group, the Happy Doc Lounge. We are obviously on iTunes. We have our social media channels at Happy Doc Podcast. So Facebook.com/Happy Doc Podcast, Twitter.com/Happy Doc Podcast, Instagram.com/Happy Doc Podcast. So please check us out. Thanks for listening, guys.